Hey, what's up, Silver and Black Nation, and welcome to the Silver and Black Lair. I'm your host, the Bat Frie, Kenny Fry. Friday night, feeling all right, baby. Let's go. Talk a little bit of Las Vegas Raider football, LA Kings hockey, talking pigskin to puck, baby. So we'll kick it off with Raiders. We had the free agency period start, the new league year, all that good stuff, trades, and the legal tampering period, whatever the hell that means. You just call it what it is. You can start talking to free agents, or start working out deals. I don't know why they just don't call it that. I don't know why they call it legal tampering. I don't know if it's a joke or whatever. But anyway, that's what it's known as. The legal tampering period starts before the league year, before you can start signing players and all that good stuff, before everything becomes official. So, I mean, everything was rapid fire earlier this week. It was unbelievable, all the moves for different teams and guys going to different places. Some guys staying put, but it was really, really busy. It was pretty neat to see, and all the different faces in different places next season, or this upcoming season, will be pretty cool. So Raiders wise, you made a couple moves, brought in a couple new faces. We also lost some people, so we'll get down to the nitty gritty here. The Raiders, biggest signing so far this year is now Christian Wilkinson, defensive tackle from Miami with the Dolphins. He spent 5 seasons there. He was their first round draft pick. I think it was 2019, maybe 2018, 2019. First round draft pick, 13th pick overall. So highly regarded. And he's had a really good career so far. He's one of those guys, a lot like Max Crosby, super high motor, always going, always flying to the ball. He's a bit of an agitator. I've seen videos on him before, but those videos have been resurfacing him stealing towels and just a little bit of trash talk and some playful stuff out there. Which again, Mad Max. That's one of the things that he does very well is get into the opponent's head a little bit. And so those two guys on the defensive line are just going to be fantastic. It's going to be awesome to see them go. High motor guys. Max. Now with Christian Wilkinson and also Robert Spillane, who was a Raider, first-year Raider last season. He's another super high motor guy, just nonstop there every single play. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun. So Wilkinson, 6'4", 310 pounds, career-wise, 353 tackles. My dyslexia hopped in there. I'm not really dyslexic. 20 and a half sacks in his career. This past season, 63 tackles, 36 of which were solo, 9 sacks, which I don't know if that led the league for defensive tackles, but it was near the tops. For interior defensive linemen, 10 tackles for losses, 23 quarterback hits. 2022, he had 98 tackles, and that was the most tackles by the interior defensive lineman, second most. It's, I think, since 2003 or whatever it was. I think 2013. I think it was 2013. I could be wrong on the year now. There was another tackle that had 103 tackles in the season. So 98 tackles coming from the interior is just amazing. Amazing run stopping ability, which is one thing that the Raiders sorely need. Somebody to plug up the hole there in the middle. And somebody to get pressure on the quarterback. 9 sacks last year. That's fantastic for an interior defensive lineman. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch these guys get at it. I can't wait. Then the Raiders also signed a quarterback, not one that you might have thought. I've talked a couple of times about Kirk Cousins, how it would be awesome. I didn't really put it out there like, I thought the Raiders were going to sign Kirk Cousins, but I'd say it would be pretty neat to get Kirk Cousins here with his ability to really let the ball fly. But he ends up going to Atlanta, and the Raiders bring in Gardner Minshew. And when I first seen that, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. Gardner Minshew, really? And then you sit back and kind of think about, well, you know what? He's not a terrible passer. He's definitely a gamer. The dude is an absolute gamer. Tough, hard-nosed, and he moves in the pocket. He can run. Nothing crazy. He's not a 1,000-yard rusher. Not even a 500-yard rusher. Last season, 100 yards rushing with the Colts, but he's not afraid to get out there and move a little bit, which is something the Raiders were sorely lacking last season and the last few seasons of Derek Carr's career with the Raiders. So last season with the Colts, 2023 Pro Bowl, which take it for what you will. A lot of guys make that. They either don't, go to it, or you have quarterbacks that are deep in the playoffs or hurt or in the Super Bowl that make it before that, and then you just kind of end up with the guys that are left over. Not saying that's what Minshew was, but that's what Minshew was. Last season, 305 completions out of 490 attempts at 62.2% completion percentage, 3,305 yards passing, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Like, that does not scream Pro Bowl to me, but it's not terrible. 84.6 passer rating, like I mentioned, 100 yards rushing. I think he had a couple of rushing touchdowns as well. I think 3. And he started 13 games for the Colts. I think his record was 6-7, I believe. But he did have them contending for a playoff spot. They were there. They had it, and they kind of crapped it away last week of the season. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I remember, did they have the lead and they blew it, or I just can't remember what happened. But they had it in their grasp and they let it slip away. The Colts did. They controlled their own destiny, and that was that. They were out. For his career, 9,937 yards passing, 59 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. He was a 6th round pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was also spent some time in Philly. Primarily a backup. He's always been a backup. And the thing I've been hearing a lot on Minshew is that he's not afraid to work with a younger quarterback, teach and stuff like that. So that's great to have for a backup quarterback, or just a veteran quarterback coming into a situation where he's going to compete for a starting job. Now, Antonio Pierce has said that his starter right now is Aiden O'Connell. He said Aiden O'Connell's a starting quarterback as far as he's concerned. He said Aiden O'Connell is a starting quarterback, and then you bring these other quarterbacks in to create competition. So as of right now, he's the starter, but you go through your camps and stuff like that in the preseason, and that could very well change. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they play that one out. If they still decide to draft a quarterback, which I do believe they will yet, or do they, I'm not really thrilled out. Do they go out and make a trade for Justin Fields? I'm not really all pumped up about that or not, but that prospect is still there as well. So we'll see what happens. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Aiden O'Connell still would be your starting quarterback week one, but Minshew's there to push him and also to help him. So we'll see what happens. Adam Glenn checking in. What's up, Adam? Thanks for checking the show out. Thank you, kind sir, for commenting. All right, so I'm not super. I was kind of let down when they signed Minshew, but after thinking about it, what, he's a gamer, he's a fighter. He'll go out there and give 110% every single down. So I'm like, all right, I'm okay with it. I'm not overly thrilled, but it's okay. It's still, like I said, still something. I still like Aiden O'Connell if he can learn how to move his feet a little bit. If he can learn how to move in the pocket a little bit, I think he'll be fine. He doesn't have to run the ball. He just has to be able to get out of trouble. If that means picking up 2 or 3 yards and a first down, then so be it. But he has to learn how to do that. He doesn't know how to do that with those spindly bird legs of his. That's something maybe that Gardner Minshew can teach him. Or the Raiders just draft a quarterback. They move up, or they just sit at 13 and hope that maybe a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix is still there, or that one of the top quarterbacks fall down. J.J. McCarthy. There's a lot of talk of Raiders J.J. McCarthy recently. Do they move up? They don't have to move up top 5 for him. Maybe they move up, into the top 10, so you're not losing as much. I don't know. We'll see what happens as we get closer to the draft and we see if things kind of clear out a little bit more. And the Raiders also signed a tight end, Harrison Bryant. Played for the Browns last season. His career-wise, 65 games, 89 catches, 791 yards, and 10 touchdowns. He's a 4th-round pick. Last season, 13 catches, 81 yards, 3 touchdowns. And from everything I've heard on this guy, great teammate, one of those tight ends that are there primarily for blocking, but can still catch the ball. They also used him in quarterback sneak situations as well. So So that's something. Instead of the Browns, instead of having Deshaun Watson out there doing a quarterback sneak, they can have him get hurt somewhere else. And Harrison Bryant was taking the quarterback sneaks, which is that's it's not a terrible idea if you have a tight end that can take snaps and a big bodied guy like that. So it's interesting to see what he can do and what he can bring. As Michael Mayer's elevated to the forefront here, hopefully he gets a lot more attention, a lot more looks in the Raider offense this upcoming season as compared to last season. Last season it was kind of underutilized, if you ask myself, and probably many Raider fans. Very, very underutilized. He was being used a little bit more after AP took over, and the interim offensive coordinator, whose name slips my mind right now. He was utilized a little bit more, but still, I don't think enough. He could have been utilized a lot more. So those were our free agent signings, and when you sign free agents, there's also the possibility that you lose your free agents. So there's some free agents that we've lost. I'm going to go ahead and go over these ones. I'm going to go over all the Raiders free agents, and I'll tell you if they're still out there, if they're signed, or where they went. Okay. Amir Abdullah, he re-signed with the Raiders. Had a pretty good season last year. Very good third down back, a decent blocker in the backfield, can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I'm not overly upset about that. I like Amir Abdullah. Jermaine Ulemanor, I was kind of bummed that he signed somewhere else, but I really like Jermaine Ulemanor. I like his attitude, towards the game of football. His attitude towards his confidence and stuff like that. He's very confident and still humble in the same respect. So he's going to the New York Giants. I think he signed a 2-year deal there, and hopefully he gets a good bit of playing time. He played well for the Raiders, and he got a decent amount of playing time as a kind of rotational type tackle, and he played a good bit last season due to injuries. And like I said, I was bummed to see him go. Austin Hooper signed with New England. He did okay for the Raiders last season. Not terrible. Nice veteran tight end there to kind of help Mayer along. Did all right catching and stuff like that, blocking. Did all the things that you asked him that they'd expect a veteran to do. But so he's going to New England. Josh Jacobs, this was a big one. I was 110% certain that he was going to re-sign with the Raiders. Maybe not long term, maybe a year or 2 years, but I thought it was definitely going to happen. I figured before the draft, plenty of time still, but apparently not. Apparently things broke down. He felt like it wasn't going along fast enough. He got an opportunity with Green Bay. That's where Josh Jacobs is going. And we wish him well. It's a super bummer, but seeing what Zamir White did the last handful of games when Josh Jacobs was hurt, I think we're going to be just fine. I think the Raiders will be just fine with Zamir White taking the bulk of the carries and the rest of the running back room, Sincere McCormick, Amir Abdullah, and guys like that. But, there's also the draft, and there's still other free agents out there, and we'll see what happens. Andre James, he re-signed with the Raiders. I was a little bit surprised, but not overly surprised. It's something I talked about last season. I did say that I wouldn't be shocked if they did bring Andre James back and keep Dylan Parham at guard, because a lot of stuff that I've seen was Dylan Parham his better position might be center. He's played a lot of center before, in college and stuff. But with the draft not being overly guard heavy and free agency, kind of light on guards as well, the asking price for guards are very high. So keep your guard where he's at. Because if you move Parham over, now you're looking for 2 guards. You're looking for a left guard and a right guard, and it's going to be tough. The asking price is very high right now for guards. So you re-sign Andre James back, keep your left guard, and now you just look for a right guard. So not a bad one. And Andre James played well at the end of the season. The first half of the season, I thought he played terrible. There were some times just absolute crap on run blocking. The whole offensive line was pretty much crap on run blocking. By the end of the season, I felt like he had it all together. I felt like he was playing very, very well. So happy to see him back. We've got a couple comments here before I continue. Eileen, what's up, Eileen? Thank you for checking the show out, and thank you for commenting. She says, "Hello, Mr. Bat Frie." Are you crying over the loss of Jimmy G? I am not crying over the loss of Jimmy G, but the many brothels are. Many brothels. Young ladies will not be going to college anymore. So Jimmy G, let that rash heal up, and everything will be just fine. Jimmy G. I guess he's signing with the Rams, I believe. So he doesn't have to go too far, from Las Vegas to LA, and so maybe he can make some visits to the Bunny Ranch or whatever in Las Vegas. It's not that far away. She also says, I have a feeling you would be ranting. How dare they not release him? I know, and it was there was question marks as if they would wait until I think it was June, some date in June. I don't remember what it was. If they wait until then, they wouldn't have to eat as much of the money or something like that. I don't remember what the exact stipulation was if they waited so long, but they just figured get rid of them now. They ate what they had to eat, money wise, and also saved a decent amount towards the cap. I did have it written down, but I don't know where I had it written down now. They also released Hunter Renfrow. That was a bit of a bummer. Releasing Hunter Renfrow. I liked Hunter Renfrow. They weren't using Hunter Renfrow at all, and I'm happier to see Hunter Renfrow get a shot somewhere else. Then, if they're not going to use him, Jacoby Myers had a terrific season last year with the Raiders, first season with the Raiders, and with the addition of what the heck's his name? We drafted him last season. I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, Hunter Renfrow was kind of on the outside looking in, and so that's where we're at. That so my daughter's playing a video game, and all I can hear is bouncing, and it's like distracting the hell out of me. So I can't even think right now. So yeah, Raiders making some good moves. Yeah, I feel like we've gotten better in some spots, but probably a little bit worse in other spots. So it's good, but could be better. All right, so other free agents that the Raiders have on their roster, Bilal Nichols, he went to Arizona, which is something I said. The Raiders had 3 defensive tackles and free agents that were unrestricted free agents. They weren't going to get them all back. Hopefully they get 1 or 2 of them back, but 1 or 2 of these guys are going to be gone, and that's just the way it is. That's there's nothing you can do about that. Amik Robertson, that's another guy I was kind of surprised didn't re-sign with the Raiders. He's moving on to Detroit. Good luck with him. Small guy, but tough as nails. He's a gamer. So I have no doubt he'll do good things in Detroit. Brandon Bolden still available. Curtis Bolton, linebacker. Defensive tackle Adam Butler. It's one of the guys I hope the Raiders go out there and re-sign, at least for depth anyway. DeAndre Carter, wide receiver. For special teams wise, you might want to look at bringing him back, even though he's kind of a bust for us last season in special teams. He came in from Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego, and as this number 1 overall, special punt returner, kick returner type guy, and didn't really get much out of him last season. But bring him back, and maybe this year's different. Who knows? Hronis Grasnu, our backup center, he's still out there as a free agent. Jesper Horsted, tight end, he's still out there. John Jenkins, another defensive tackle, another guy I really like. I hope the Raiders bring back. Jakob Johnson, the fullback, he's still out there. Brandon Parker, tackle. I wouldn't be too surprised if the Raiders don't re-sign him, just for depth reasons. Greg Van Routen, offensive guard, and so I'm kind of curious to see if they bring him back. He played well at times last season, wasn't overly great. Did a good enough job that I could see them bringing him back, especially like I mentioned about the guard market being what it is right now. Whether through the draft, not all, like a deep draft for guards, and also guards available through free agency. The asking prices are super high, and not a whole lot of them anyway. And also releases. I said about the Raiders. Eileen commented about the Raiders releasing Jimmy G. They released Hunter Renfrow, like I mentioned. They saved $8.2 million in cap there. They also released Jerry Tillery, who ended up going to Minnesota, and Brian Hoyer. See you later, Brian Hoyer. Very happy to see Brian Hoyer go. I still don't know why he was on the roster, but it's good to see him go. He was probably on the roster because he was a Patriot. That's what we did last season for the most part. So free agency really taking hold here. So after all that stuff, after the guys that we lost, the guys that we've signed, the way I see it, the Raiders' needs are right now are offensive guard right now on the roster. We're sitting with DJ Fluker and Ben Brown. And Fluker we picked up. Fluker we picked up last season as a practice squad player, I believe, from the 49ers. I think it was last year. I think it was the 49ers. 49ers or Chargers. I don't remember. And Ben Brown we picked up this past offseason. So again, those guys are not starters. I don't believe. That's just who we have sitting there right now. So with no right guard, DJ Fluker automatically jumps up to your starting offensive guard, and that's not going to sit well. Right tackle. Right now we have Thayer Munford, and that's it. And he said he prefers playing left tackle, and you have Colton Miller, one of the better left tackles in the NFL over there. So it's probably not going to happen. So either he sucks it up and plays right tackle, or doesn't play at all. Just a rotational piece. A fill-in. So the Raiders drafted him a couple of years ago. And it's time for him to step up. Defensive tackles, like with all the free agents still sitting there, Adam Butler and John Jenkins. So that's still a position of need. If they go out and re-sign those guys, bring them back, it wouldn't be so bad. But right now, sitting with Byron Young, who we drafted last season. Nesta Jade Silvera we drafted last season as well. And also Matt Butler, who had a decent season last year. And again, they might not bring back either Adam Butler or John Jenkins. We drafted 2 tackles last year, and Byron Young was very highly regarded. He was highly regarded. I believe coming out of Alabama, I think it was. So it's time for him to step up. I don't know what issues he had last season, but he spent a lot of time on the being scratched for the games, just not playing. And so I don't know what the issue was exactly. I don't think it was injury. I think it was just more getting acclimated to the NFL type of thing. But we'll see what happens this season. And that's the Jade Silvera. He didn't get a whole lot of playing time either. And, is that just adjustment to the NFL? I don't know. Rookies last season, sometimes you just got to give it time. We see with Tyree Wilson, got to give it time. He did get better as the season went on. Still not where you want him, as being a number one, as a top draft pick, a first-round draft pick, but he did get better as the season went on. So you hope for big things this season out of Tyree Wilson. Cornerback is position in need, now losing Amik Robertson. Now, we still have Jack Jones, Jacorian Bennett, Nate Hobbs. The way it looks right now, Jack Jones will start at one corner. Jacorian Bennett, drafted last season, like he'd be our other corner. Nate Hobbs is our nickel cornerback. We also have Brandon Faison. So that's still an area of need as well. You still want to bring another 1 or 2 more cornerbacks in. And quarterback. Right now we have Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. So do we go out and bring another veteran in? Do we got something through the draft? The Raiders, they've had a couple coaches or management personnel out and about at different pro days. I think they were out at Oregon. Spencer Rattler. I want to say he's Arkansas, but I can't remember exactly. But they were at his pro day as well. Who else's pro day were they just recently at? I feel like they're at Oklahoma, but I feel like that's a lie. I don't know. But they're out and about looking, either at quarterbacks, offensive linemen, one or the other, and going through, doing their due diligence, basically going through the paces here as a new coaching staff, and a restructured team. Basically all those free agents. A decent amount of cap space, so there's still plenty of room to make moves. I think they're anywhere between $27 and $30 million under the cap yet, so plenty of money to make any more moves if they'd like to make any more moves. Which they probably will make one or two, but who knows when that's going to happen. So yeah. A couple of top free agents still out there for those positions. Cornerback, you still have I can't say his name. Tre'Davious White. I can't say his name. I just can't do it. I'm not even going to try now. In my head, I can say it, but I can't make my mouth say it. Stephon Gilmore still out there. He was a Cowboy last season. He is 34 years old, so kind of getting up there. Xavier Howard from Miami. Offensive tackle Trent Brown is still out there. There's a couple offensive tackles that are still out there. DJ Humphries, offensive guard Kevin Zeitler. So there's still some guys out there, just like Greg Van Routen, offensive guard, still out there that played with us last season. So the moves aren't done yet for the Raiders. They'll make some other moves. Might not be huge splashes like Christian Wilkinson or I don't know if you will call it splash or not, Gardner Minshew, or little ripples, Harrison Bryant, tight end. A sip of water for the working man. Eileen says, it's like when you try to say Acuna. Yeah, Ronald Acuna rolls off the tongue easy. But when I try to say Luis Angel Acuna, I really struggle with that. I'm getting better at it. Like that Luis Angel Acuna, that's better. Before I couldn't say it. I really struggled with it. And the word familiar with the ITY at the end, familiarity, I can't say it. That's really hard. I don't know what's my fat ass tongue or what. I don't know what the issue is, but I just have a hard time saying that. So yeah, that's all we got going on with the Raiders. Again, 13th picks. I still would not be surprised if they tried to move up for a quarterback. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They just stay pat at 13 and see what happens. See if there's a quarterback that falls. There was a pretty good Out of the Box Sports. We had a pretty good NFL show on just 6:00 today. Make sure you check that out next Thursday. But they were talking NFC West. They were talking like different quarterbacks in the draft, and they're talking. I think Danny on Wheels was talking about the potential of maybe Jaden Daniels dropping a little bit, which is nothing that I've heard, but that happens every year where there's a couple guys that are expected to go top 5, top 10 that for whatever reason, either teams needs change or like they didn't like what they saw, or the guy that they liked, was already picked, and that guy that the experts are saying is probably going to go here ends up dropping because the next 20 picks doesn't need they don't have that need. They don't have that need for a quarterback or offensive tackle or whatever. And so that top-notch player drops, 20 spots or whatever. And then you see your teams jumping from the early second round to the late first round to try to grab those guys. And or like the Raiders did last season, they jumped a few spots in the second round to get Michael Mayer, who was projected to be a first-round pick. And he'd end up dropping to the second round. The Raiders were able to trade up and get him early second round. So there's still possibilities of guys like that dropping. J.J. McCarthy, who knows what the hell's going to happen with him? Who knows what kind of quarterback he's going to be? Like I mentioned about Jaden Daniels, a lot of unknowns about him. The Bears, what are the Bears going to do? Are they going to take a quarterback, or are they going to stick with Justin Fields? A lot of that hinges on them. Eddie Prather checking in. Eddie, thank you for commenting. Thank you for checking the show out. He says Minshew is a suitable starting quarterback for a season or two. He is, but with the Raiders signing him doesn't mean he's going to be our starting quarterback. Like I said, Antonio Pierce said the way it is right now, Aiden O'Connell is the Raiders starting quarterback. So it's Minshew to go out there and compete. That's right now it's Aiden O'Connell to compete. So it's his job to lose, and it's Minshew there to try to take it from him. That's where you go from it. The Raiders don't need to reach on a quarterback. No, they don't need to. But if they feel like there's a franchise quarterback in this draft that they can get, and he can be long term, and he could take the Raiders back to the realm of relevancy, which is somewhere we've haven't been in a long time. We've had a couple seasons where we've done well, either playoffs or a winning record, but there's many, many, many seasons where single digit, double digit loss totals, it's really rough seasons. So if they feel like they need to reach, because this guy's a franchise turning type quarterback, then they got to do it. They have to do it. I'd rather see the Raiders give up 3 first-round picks to get a quarterback early in the first round, pick 1, 2, or 3 or whatever, and have him be a franchise quarterback, a 12, 15-year quarterback that gets the Raiders back to winning. That's well worth it, in my opinion, well worth it. But we've seen so many different times where teams have done that. They've reached on the quarterback, they've traded up, and it just does not work out. And the team's even further behind than what they were before. So that's a risky take, and that's why they make a lot of money on it, and I don't, I guess. I don't know. But, again, if they don't take a quarterback with their first pick, if they stand pat, hoping that maybe somebody falls to them, or you have like a Michael Penix, or they feel high on Penix or Bo Nix. You hear Bo Nix could be available there. Actually, you have to figure the Broncos right before us, the 12. They're probably looking for a quarterback with Russ being gone now, right? So, do you try to jump ahead of the Broncos? I don't know. We'll see. A couple more comments. Eddie says, I don't see a Peyton Manning type prospect. No, but there are some game-breaking prospects, potentially. The Caleb Williams kid, who I think is a diva. But, if he can play, he can play. And, he maybe not Peyton Manning cerebral and, pass for 5,000 yards, but you might have, Caleb Williams go out there, throw for, 3,500 yards with, 18, 19, 20 touchdowns, 7, 8, 9 interceptions, but also run for 5, 6, 7, 800 yards and, 5 touchdowns that way. And with a good team built around them, that's winning football. Now, if it's a shit team, because those are Justin Fields stats right there. I'm just reading off. That's basically what Justin Fields is. But the Bears have been a very bad team the last few seasons. So that's why it makes you wonder if they stay with Justin Fields coming up this season, because they've made some moves, offensively, and building a better team around him. Those numbers that he had, which aren't terrible numbers, with a better team around you, the Bears could easily go from a 6, 7, 8 win team to a 9, 10, 11, maybe not 11, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10 type win team, that's pushing for playoffs. So nobody that's going to go out there and throw for 5,000 yards or anything like that, but, guys that can turn a team around. Low football IQ. That's Caleb Williams, he's saying. No leadership skills for Caleb. Yeah, and that's what I mean. He seems like a kind of a diva, but, sometimes you go to the NFL, being around other men instead of your boys, your pals and stuff like that. Yeah, it changes that. It could change a player or even, Jesus Christ, from going to high school to working, factory life, myself, from, being a, big tough football player to go and work with a bunch of men, it really changes you. You kind of have to, grow up quick. That could be Caleb Williams. He's going to have to grow up quick. He'll go to the NFL. They're going to expect a lot out of him, because it's going to be a high draft pick. This is the guy that's going to lead our franchise into the future, and his teammates are going to expect a lot out of him. There's going to be a lot of put on him, and he's going to have to grow up quick. And if he doesn't, then it's going to be bust time. And that's one of those guys that you look at and you're like, that's a big potential for bust. I don't know. Eddie says Fields showed last year during a 5-game stretch that he has the talent. I just feel like Justin Fields is, wildly inaccurate. His feet great, legs great, It does have a strong arm, but just very inaccurate at times, and stuff like that. Makes you nervous. They're drive killers. And throwing your defense out there, with bad interceptions, throwing your defense out there for extra possessions, it doesn't help. That happened to the Raiders a lot last season. A lot of interceptions from Jimmy G, a lot of interceptions from Aiden O'Connell in some of these games. And, putting a defense out there who had a terrific defense last season, but putting them out there extra possessions, more time, and sooner or later they wear down. And it's, you want a quarterback that's going to be accurate, make the completions, keep the drive going, and not hurt your team. And you also want a quarterback that will, take that risk, take that chance, but in the right situations. On a 3rd and 17, your side of the 20 or whatever, maybe don't take that chance unless you're down a good bit or whatever. The 3 games before he broke his thumb, Fields was very accurate. I don't know. I do know that DJ Moore had a great season last year. Cole Kmet, same thing. Career years for both those guys. So that's one of those things you kind of look at. It's, I don't know. All right, so that's all I have on Raider talk. I'm going to go ahead and move on. And again, super bummed that Josh Jacobs, we have him there on this side, I guess it would be. Yeah, over there. They see him? Yeah, there he is. It's hard to do that with the whole camera thing. Josh Jacobs is on my wallpaper here. So I have to get that changed up and stuff. So it's a bummer, free agency, but it is what it is. They should have signed him long term last season, and let's see what Zamir White can do. He looked great the last couple weeks of the season. Let's see if he can move that to keep that going this season, 2024, 2025. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on to LA King talk here. If you still have any more thoughts or opinions or questions on Raiders or anything else, football-wise or anything, period, anything, doesn't matter what it is, just keep throwing them out there and we'll talk about it. I don't mind jumping around and talking about odd stuff or stuff that doesn't pertain to what I'm actually talking about. It doesn't really matter to me. So yeah. All right. Turn in the page. So this past week in the LA Kings, I'll go over each game, and I'll tell you scores and all the stats for those games and stuff like that. So Sunday, I think it was this past Sunday, Saturday or Sunday versus Stars. Kings lost 4-1. The game was much closer than what the final score was. It was a good game. Stars are just absolutely relentless. A very, very good team. I think the Stars might be the best team that I've seen the Kings play this season. Just very, very good. And as a team as a whole team, it's hard to find too many weaknesses there. Very fast. Just like I said, just relentless. The pressure that they put on the Kings was amazing. But anyway, first period, the Kings kick off the scoring. Kevin Fiala got his 21st of the season, assisted by Drew Doughty, put the Kings up 1-0, and that was it for the Kings. Second period, Foxa for the Stars scored his 6th of the season, made it 1-1. Then Robertson scored his 22nd of the season, made it 2-1. That was just 20 seconds later. It was a bit of a bummer. Then going to the third period, Johnston scored for the Stars, made it 3-1. That was a power play. And Pavelski scored, empty netter, 23rd goal of the season. That made it 4-1. Like I said, it was actually a much closer game. It was actually a really fun game to watch. Just the speed and the skill on both sides. Cam Talbot was between the pipes, 31 of 34, stopped 31 of 34 shots. Overall, the shots went to Dallas, 35-25. Hits went to LA, 23-16. Faceoffs went to LA, 33-27. We were 1 for 5 on the penalty kill. We're 0 for 4 in a power play, which, this power play is just absolute garbage. It's really frustrating. And block shots, LA led in block shots as well, 16-7. I got a comment here before I move on. Hey, big boy, Shawnee Lazarchik, check it in. He said, I like it. I love it. I want more of it. Toyota. There you go, buddy. All right. Toyota. I got me a Toyota. I love my Toyota. So, yeah, good game. But the Kings were definitely outclassed by the Dallas Stars. Very good team. Definitely a cup favorite, no doubt. Then we went on to play the Islanders at home. Got 3-0 win. A great job there. Very physical game. Kings were very physical in this game. First period, no score. Second period, Adrian Kempe scored. Welcome him back. I think he came back against the Stars, and actually had a decent game against the Stars. They did have a couple turnovers, but I thought he was aggressive. He was physical, and but anyway, he scored his 20th of the season, assisted by Jordan Spence and Lair. I made it 1-0 LA. In the third period, Philly D scored. Philip Denault, 15th goal of the season, assisted by Moore. And Drew Doughty made it 2-0, and then Moore scored his 25th of the season. An empty netter made it 3-0. David Rittich was between the pipes, gets his second shutout of the season, stopped 26-26. Shots wise, New York Islanders won the shot battle, 26-25. Hits went to LA, 29-26. Face-offs went to the Islanders, 32-20. Absolutely spanked in the face-off circle. It's something that happens time and time again. As soon as you think the Kings have it, figured out in the face-off circle one game, they'll have 2 games, 3 games in a row. It seems like where they just get obliterated in the face-off circle. We need to win those possessions, especially deep in our zone, so we can clear it. And but even in the offensive zone, just to get that quick shot off or to set a play up or something, got to get these face-offs. At least got to get it closer. Got to get it more even. The 32-20 is ridiculous. Penalty kill, we were 0 for 5, so that's good. Power play 0 for 3, that's not good. Block shots went to LA 16-15. Very good win. Like I said, a very physical game. A lot of hitting by both sides. And Islanders had some good chances, too. The Islanders had some good chances, some good saves by Riddick, some very good back checking, and able to clear the puck. So that was awesome there. It was great to see. I think they wrapped it up pretty nicely on the Locked On Kings podcast when he said it was a very complete game. It was a very complete game, probably one of the more complete games they've had this season. And I have to agree. They're able to set up in the offensive zone a couple times, able to move the puck around. Like I said, defensively, able to back check very well, clear the puck when they had to, start the rush when they had to, set up nicely. Did a good job. Very physical, like I said, good goaltending. Overall, very good game. So we move on to the St. Louis Blues. We go to St. Louis to play the Blues, and Blues are playing well. They're fighting for a playoff spot, trying to get back into the wild card race. And the Kings go out there and they lay an egg. First period, we lose 3-1. First period, Terepchenko, he scored his 13th of the season, made it 1-0. Second period, Neighbors scored his 21st goal of the season, made it 2-0. And then the third period, Saad scored his 20th goal of the season, made it 3-0. And everything was going Blues' way. Adrian Kempe was able to put one in, his 21st of the season, assisted by Drew Doughty and Turcotte. But that was it. The Kings couldn't get anything going. Blues. I felt like the Blues actually controlled this game from what I saw. I didn't get to watch the whole game. I did see most of it. I think the first 2.5 periods, basically, before I had to go to work. And the Blues absolutely controlled it. They controlled it. Got a couple comments here before I move on to the game currently playing right now. Sean says, I'm 2 points away from the winner, NBA. FanDuel. Sean, you should start a show on here for betting. He says, you see the 2 New York teams a few weeks ago. It was a battle of New York. I don't know. Are you talking? And New York teams always play each other, right? I mean, I don't know who you're talking about. Are you talking about the Nets and Knicks? Are you talking about the Mets and Yankees played, I think, last week? And I don't know if the Islanders and Rangers have played recently. I'm not sure, but there we go. Islanders and Rangers. Thank you, Sean. My bad. I did not see that. I did not see that one. At the MetLife Stadium, at MetLife, the Stadium Bar in Pottsville Zone. Okay, I got you. The Stadium Bar at Pottsville Zone, that's a local bar in Pottsville where we're kind of from. It says, doesn't Canada have basketball and hockey? How come NFL doesn't have any teams up yonder? I don't, that's not a bad question, Sean. Actually, when you think about it, why hasn't the NFL really expanded into Canada? Is there something with the CFL? Is there some sort of like a agreement? I don't know. That's a really good question. There was some talk before the Bills decided to stay in Buffalo of them moving to Toronto, but I don't know if that was ever serious or not. But yeah, that's a great question. That is, they have a basketball team, and the Raptors. They had the hockey, of course, and why not football? They're always talking about Mexico. Why not Canada? Is it just the Canadians? CFL's their thing, and I don't know. I have no idea. I hope Blues lose. No trade secrets. And hockey. I don't know what the hockey comment is, but Eileen says maybe the outdoor game, Sean. Yeah, and that's what Shawnee Boy was talking about. He was talking about the I guess the Islanders and Rangers. That was like 2 weeks ago, was it? 2 or 3 weeks ago. They played at MetLife. I don't know. Paul checking in. What's up, Paul? Thanks for checking out the show, and thank you for commenting, sir. He says, what's up, buddy? Kings killed me Wednesday. Took them plus 1.5, lost 3-1. Yeah. And I do take them, and they're winning 5-0. NCAA basketball. Yeah, the Kings are absolutely dominating right now against the Blackhawks. And I'd say NCAA basketball around this time gets tricky. If you're betting straight up, and there are some games that are really easy. You're taking, I don't know, Kansas against some business school or whatever. That Kansas is favored to win by 50. Obviously there's a good chance you're going to win that. But you have some games that are a plus 10 or a minus 10, but basketball wise, that's not a huge spread. I don't think. It seems like the team that's the underdog has a really good chance of covering or actually winning outright. So basketball, around this time, college basketballs are really hard to figure out. Sean, yeah, the Canucks, like Knobles, Rangers, yep. NCAA, Paul saying NCAA basketball is easy money. It can be, but it's also tricky at times. I know I lost some last season. Betting on plus 10s and plus 10s, plus 12s, or bet on the favorites, so the minus 10s, minus 12s, and just getting smoked. And I'm like, God damn it! I'd do like an 8-game parlay, and then that's the one I would lose, a minus 10. Thinking I was doing the smart thing. Sean says the Rocket from Notre Dame went to Canada. Yeah, you're right. Canada. I think that's that's what you're saying, Canada. Rocket Ishmael, right? I think he played in the CFL for but didn't he? I think he did. Doug Flutie, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he played in the CFL. I don't know if he ever actually got any field time or not. I feel like he did. The field is wider. Yeah, different rules in the CFL than the NFL. But the NFL is much more popular than the CFL in the United States, North America, and probably across the world. So I'm still not sure why they don't have a team in Canada. Eileen says, I think Sean needs to make an appearance on the show at some point. Anytime Sean wants to be on, he can come on. We'll have me, Sean, and Adam. That's what we'll do. We'll get Sean and Adam. They'll get together in their location. I'll be at my location, and we'll just talk about nonsense for a half hour to an hour. Usually that's what my shows are, just complete nonsense. I stutter through it. I jumble my words, and I rock back and forth. I'm far away, then I'm really close, and that's my shows are a cluster muck, and it is what it is. Paul says, here's an easy win. Always take Iowa State under total both teams. Ishmael played with the Toronto Argonauts, the Rocket. Yeah, I like Sean said, after he said it, I kind of remember Rocket Ishmael playing up in Canada before he came back down to the NFL, and he played for the Raiders. Who else did he play for? I think he played for a couple teams in the NFL. Warren Sapp. Sean, you could put them together. They don't have to be two separate comments. You're allowed to put more than one word together in your comments. So, what about Warren Sapp? Are you saying he played in Canada? I don't think he played in Canada. He did play for the Raiders for a little bit. Paul says, tonight Baylor averaged 89 points per game, and tonight Iowa State is leading 27-37. Iowa State at 16 minutes left. Wow, that is a low-scoring game. Is that the actual score? 37-27, Iowa State. That's amazing for men's college basketball. Rocky lost his spot to Warren Sapp. That was at the University of Miami. If you're talking about on the Rocks TV show, which I thought was a fantastic TV show. I think they canceled it now, but I thought that was a terrific TV show. Seeing all the different old school wrestlers and how Rock grew up and different stories and stuff with his dad, Rocky Johnson, and stuff, his grandmother, the promoter and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. And Sean says yes, in college. So Susie messaged him and screwed it up. Yeah, she did. She screwed it up for you, Sean. That's what it was. Blame it on your poor sister screwing up your comments here. The Rocket Ishmael played for Dallas and Baltimore and the Panthers. Oh, I kind of remember the Panthers. I don't remember Dallas and Baltimore at all. No, you know what? I do remember Baltimore now that I say it. I don't remember Dallas. Paul says, "Yep, score. Iowa State plays defense. That's a hell of a defense. A team that's averaging 89 points per game and 16 minutes left. They're only at 27. Holy cow!" All right, so back to the LA Kings. Like I was talking with the St. Louis Blues, lose 3-1. Cam Talbot was between the pipes again, stopped 27 of 30 shots. Overall, Kings won the shot battle 41-30. Hits went to LA 29-22. Faceoffs went to LA 33-29. We were perfect in the penalty kill again, 0-2. Power play, still no goals in the power play there. Block shots went to St. Louis this time, 20-9. So that St. Louis game, the Kings came out firing a ton of shots, an absolute ton of shots. You see 41 overall, but a lot of shots early on. I think they almost had 20 shots in the first period. But the Blues were able to settle down. They didn't panic, and the Kings turned the puck over a couple times. Blues took advantage of it. So credit to the Blues. They're playing well, trying to get back into the race. And so right now, currently, there's a game going on. The Kings are playing in Chicago, and I do believe the score is still 5-0. So I do have some stats from there for right now. I don't have complete game stats, but in the first period, Pierre-Luc Dubois scored as his 15th of the season, assisted by Spence and Denault. Then Laferriere scored. The rookie scored. He's in double-digit zone now. He got his 10th goal of the season. Good for him. The rookie, I think Laferriere has played great this season. I love his speed. I love his toughness. He's out of place every once in a while, but I really like watching him play. Very aggressive. So Laferriere scored his 10th of the season, assisted by Roy and Pierre-Luc Dubois. Kopitar scored his 19th, assisted by Byfield and Kempe. Still in the first period here. Kopitar scored his 20th, assisted by Byfield and Kempe. A beautiful I think that was the backhand pass from Byfield to Kopitar. I think that's Kopitar's second goal. It was a beautiful backhanded pass by Byfield. So then we go to the second period, and Spence scores his first of the season, assisted by Lair and England. So yeah, so right now we're 4 minutes to go in the third. Kings are still up 5-0. Right now the shots are 37-27 LA, and they're pretty much cruise control right now. 4 minutes to go. Just don't get anybody hurt, basically. So not including this game, we got the 3 stars of the week. My third star of the week is David Rittich, who got the shutout against New York Islanders. Who the Islanders were playing fantastic. I think they won 6 in a row going into that game. So getting the shutout was huge. Stopped 26 of 26 shots. Number 2 star of the week, Drew Doughty. He had 3 assists. Some really good back checking in that game against the Islanders. And number 1 star of the week, Adrian Kempe. It was great to see Kempe back, flying around, doing things. He had a couple of goals, and in this game, he has a couple of assists against the Blackhawks. So he's my first star of the week. So we got a comment here from ROTY. I don't know if it's Roddy or I think that's Roddy, ROTY. Thanks for checking the show out. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to all of our Out of the Box Sports and follow all of our shows. We have a whole lot here. And he said, Kempe sold my ticket. Kempe's fantastic. I really like Juice. He's him and Fiala. I really enjoy watching those guys fly around. Kempe, the way he moves the puck, he rarely turns it over. And it seems to be since he came back, he seems to be getting more physical, which isn't part of his skill set. But he seems to be hitting a lot more and really mixing it up a good bit. So I really like that part of Kempe. And if he can get hot at the right time, watch out. The Kings might be able to go on a run. Our offense has been struggling, even though we've been doing much better since the All-Star break, since the coaching change and all that good stuff. The Kings have been playing better, but offensively still not where it was beginning of the season. And if we can get Kempe rolling, man, I'll tell you what, watch out. Kempe rolling, Fiala playing the way he's been playing recently. Kopitar scoring a couple goals tonight. If he can start, ramping up some offense here, and Quentin Byfield getting back to scoring some, the Kings are going to be tough. That line of what is it, Fiala, Denault, and Trevor Moore. That line has been killer. Has been doing so well. Keep that line going. Keep that line high. Philly D has been playing great recently. So it's a lot of good things. I got a couple more comments here. Susie Kiefer, that's Sean's sister. She says, "Don't blame me for your screw up." Yeah, Sean, don't blame Susie. And Sean says, "I blame our mother." Okay. I'm not gonna touch that one. Susie says, "I tried to put a laughing face, and it only comes up to report your comment." Oh, there's some laughy faces right there. And Sean says, "What movie is better, Blades of Glory or Miracle?" I've never seen Blades of Glory, Sean, to be honest with you. Every time I want to go watch it, I like Will Ferrell, but I don't know. I don't know if I can watch it or not. It's just, I don't know. I did like Miracle. I thought Miracle was terrific. I thought it was a good movie. All right, so moving on to the standings. So looking at the Pacific, not counting this game, not counting tonight. Pacific Division's led by Vancouver. 15 games left to play. 42 wins, 17 losses, 8 overtime losses, 92 points. Edmonton is in second place right now. 18 games left. 40 wins, 21 losses, 3 overtime losses, 83 points. So they're sitting pretty far back, but they do have 3 games in hand on Vancouver. So I don't know. That can come down to the wire. If they're able to gain a little bit more ground on them. It's not a whole lot to play yet. LA, 17 games left to play. 33 wins, 21 losses, 11 overtime losses. and 77 points. So right now, those are your 3 automatic playoff bids for the Pacific Division. Vegas Golden Knights sitting with 16 games left to play, 35 wins, 24 losses, 7 overtime losses. They have the same point total as the Kings, but because the Kings have more games to play yet, they have the tiebreaker right now. So that's why the Kings are right now sitting in the 3rd spot, and the Vegas Golden Knights are fighting for a wild card. So overall, looking at the West, Vancouver's leading the West with those 92 points. Then you have Colorado. They have 15 games left to play, 42 wins, 20 losses, 5 overtime losses. They're at 89 points. Dallas, 14 games left to play, 40 wins, 19 losses, 9 overtime losses. They're at 89 points as well. Winnipeg Jets, 17 games left to play, 41 wins, 19 losses, 5 overtime losses, 87 points overall. Edmonton Oilers, sitting there, 18 games left, 83 points. The Nashville Predators are your number 1 wild card team right now. They're still with 15 games left to play, 38 wins, 25 losses, 4 overtime losses at 80 points. Then you have LA with 77 points, the Golden Knights, 77 points. Minnesota, not that far back. They have 15 games left to play, 33 wins, 27 losses, 7 overtime losses, and 73 points. And the Blues are just sitting outside of there with 71 points. So if the playoffs were to start today, this is what it would look like. Your top 3 from the Pacific would be Vancouver, Edmonton, and LA. Your top 3 from the Central would be Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg. And your wild card, your number 1 wild card would be Nashville. Your number 2 would be Vegas Golden Knights. So the way it would work out, I believe, I've been saying it wrong for weeks now, but I'm pretty sure I have it figured out now, because the NHL does a little bit different. Vancouver would be playing the Vegas Golden Knights. Since Vancouver's the number 1 overall seed in the West, the Vegas Golden Knights would be your last wild card team. They'd be your 8th seed. So Vancouver would play the second wild card team in the Vegas Golden Knights, and the second best team, Colorado, would play the top wild card team in Nashville. So it'd be Colorado, Nashville, and then your top 2, your next 2 seeds in the Pacific, the Oilers and the Kings, they'd play each other as part of the automatic bids, automatic playoff spots. And Dallas and Winnipeg would play each other. Dallas and Winnipeg would play each other as the top, the next 2 spots for your automatic playoff berths in the Central Division. If that makes any sense. If it does, I don't know. It's if you can see the diagram that I have drawn out here, it's easy to understand that way. But basically, it'd be Vancouver Golden Knights, Colorado, Nashville, Edmonton versus LA again, 3 years in a row, and then Dallas versus Winnipeg. That's what it ended today. So a lot can change yet, especially with the wild card race. I don't see any other teams really getting in. I think these are going to be your top 8 teams. But the placement, Vegas can still jump into the top 3. LA, Edmonton, who knows? Edmonton stumbles. LA could jump them. Vegas could jump them. You could have Colorado overtaking Vancouver as the overall number 1, or even Dallas overtaking both of them as the overall number 1. So a lot can change for seeding wise. Sean says it's so funny, or die. That's he's talking about Blades of Glory, I believe. Susie says he is bad, meaning Sean, obviously. I just like this no laughing duh face. That doesn't make sense. Bo Jackson, etc. Was any hockey player a dual sport person? I don't think so. I don't know for sure, but I don't think there's ever been a dual sport hockey player. It's a good question, though. I mean, maybe there was like a maybe not a major sport, maybe a hockey, maybe, I don't know, badminton or something. I don't know. But yeah, as far as I know, there was never a dual sport hockey player. Sean says Wayne Gretzky hockey 98 was great. Hey, the mayor of Las Vegas, Vegas Rob checking in. He says, "What's up, brother? Vegas Rob, the mayor here. Rob, what's going on with your Vegas Golden Knights? They kind of stumbled for most of the season. They sat there with the 2 seed, and now they're all the way in the bottom at the second wild card spot. What's going on with those Vegas Golden Knights?" A quick update here. The Kings won 5-0, so that's a shutout for Cam Talbot. Good job for him, and that's a win for the LA Kings. All right, so those are your standings. So next up for the Kings, we have Dallas on Saturday. So tomorrow at Dallas. So gear up for that one. Tuesday versus Chicago. So that's good to see. Let Chicago come to LA and hopefully get another automatic 2. And Wednesday against Minnesota, against the Wild. They're coming in. They're still trying to get back into the wild card race, sitting there with 73 points. And so that's not going to be an easy task, but it is at home. So we'll see those. We'll see what happens. Those are our next 3 games. And looking at stats, stats-wise, if I add today's stats in here, maybe I don't know if I can, if I'll be able to do the math that quick in my head or not. I'm not a math magician here. Just a regular old schmo. So we have Kevin Fiala leading the team in points. 21 goals, 36 assists, 57 points. He's at a -1 as when I wrote this down. Anze Kopitar is now up to 20 goals. He had 2 goals tonight. 20 goals, 35 assists, 53 points. He was at a +6. I'm sure it's gone up. Adrian Kempe, he had 2 assists tonight. So that puts him at 21 goals, 34 assists at 55 points. He was also a +6, so that went up. Byfield, 19 goals. He had a couple assists as well, so 30 assists. Put him at 49 points, and he was a +15. Trevor Moore, 25 goals, 20 assists. I don't think did he have any assists? No. 20 assists, 45 points. He's at a +9. For those of you that don't know, plus-minus rating, you get a plus when you're on the ice and your team scores. You get a minus when you're on the ice and your team gives up a goal. So pretty simple there. So plus good, minus bad. And you'll see where that comes into play here. Drew Doughty, 14 goals, 28 assists, 42 points. He's at a +11. Philly D, Philip Denault, 15 goals. He had 1 assist, right? Yeah, 1 assist. So 15 goals, 24 assists, 39 points. He was at a +13. And Pierre-Luc Dubois, he had a goal and assist, so that puts him at 15 goals, 15 assists. And that put him at 30 points. But he was a -19, which is ass. That's complete ass. Cam Talbot wins his 20th game of the season with tonight's win. I'm not going to factor in all that other stuff. He got a shutout. But so obviously his save percentage is going to go up and his goals against will go down. But when I wrote this down, so now he's 20, 16, and 6. His goals against were 2.49, and his save percentage was 916%, 0.916. David Rittich, 10, 4, and 3 on the season, a 2.19 goals against, and a 919 save percentage. So both goalies playing much, much better. January was tough for everybody. So glad to see January gone. Sean comes in with another comment. He says, the Blades of Glory is offbeat, is hockey. Yeah. I don't know how to decipher that one, Sean. That doesn't make sense to me. Blades of Glory is offbeat, is hockey. Are there ice tests, as I could imagine, for safety? Well, so what? As far as I know, Sean, so what they do is they clean the ice in between periods, and before the start of the game, they have the Zamboni goes around and cleans it. Then they have people go around with squeegees. I don't know if they do that during commercial break or not, but I guess in between periods and before game and stuff like that, they go around to smooth it out and stuff like that. So I guess you could say that's for safety. It's also for better gameplay. You could tell sometimes, especially like the beginning of the Chicago game, the puck was just kind of jumping everywhere, it seemed like. And, the moving the puck along the boards, you can see it kind of hop up. So I don't know if that's hitting, a bad piece of ice. Is there just some shaving sitting there that wasn't cleaned up? I don't know. Sometimes it takes a little bit for the ice, for the players to get used to the ice or for the ice to start playing well and, for things to start flowing better. And that's what it seemed like at the beginning of tonight's game anyway. It's very choppy in the beginning. And it was leading to some turnovers. The Blackhawks had some great opportunities early in the game. I don't know about the rest of the game. I didn't see it. But early in the game, the Blackhawks had some really good opportunities. Kings turned it over a couple of times. Pierre-Luc Dubois had a terrible turnover in the first. and somehow Dubois or Talbot was able to come up with the save, and yeah. So I don't know if it's for safety or if it's or what it's for. I don't know. How thick does the ice have to be? And the puck, it's frozen beforehand. Well, the ice is as thick as your head, Sean. I don't know. I don't know how thick the ice has to be. I don't know. It's a some advice. Google. You'll have to Google that one, Sean. I have no idea. And the puck, it's frozen beforehand. I don't think the puck is frozen at all. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Those are some off the wall questions. I'll tell you that. Is this what keeps you up at night, Sean? So that's all I have for tonight. Let me do my sponsor reads here before I get out of here, and all that good stuff. 1-800-HURT123, 1-800-HURT123. That is the phone number you can reach Jason Fine, attorney Big Al at. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. In Cherry Hill, New Jersey, the office is located at 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. And in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the offices are located at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the offices are located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. It's Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. Head on over to monkeycoltcoffee.com and get all your gourmet coffee needs. They have bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee. They have toasted coconut rum. They have a Sumatran blend, medium roast coffee. They have a organic blend, Perula, Florida. They have one of their newest blends is a golden honey agave. They're also selling barrel aged honey as well at monkeycoltcoffee.com. Head on over to their swag shop, get t-shirts, coffee mugs, tumbler cups, cold brew pitchers, K-cup adapters, and don't forget that paradise rum cake. Yum, yum. All that and much, much more at monkeycoltcoffee.com. And at checkout, use that promo code OOTB Sports for 10% off your order. That promo code, once again, is OOTB Sports for 10% off your order at monkeycoltcoffee.com. I got a couple more comments here. And got our boy Sean. All right. What is the... I don't know. It does. Lost there, buddy. I just found out 266 women are getting per minute. What are they getting, buddy? Worldwide. Population booming 8 billion plus. Oh, so are you saying 266 women? Okay. All right, I guess. Wow, the barrel aged honey. Yeah, check that out. It sounds like you need some honey there, Winnie the Pooh. Seems awesome. Monkey Cold Coffee does have some great products. They really do. I really enjoy their coffee. And that tumbler cup is fantastic. Keeps your coffee hot. Keeps your cold drinks cold for a good amount of time. So check that out. Real quick before I go, trade deadline for the Kings, was it last week? They didn't do anything. No, I think that was 2 weeks ago. It's kind of surprised that they didn't trade Arthur Kaliev, but so no moves made. Nothing to talk about there. Nothing to see here, folks. These are the things that keep me up. Yes, Kenny, you know me well. Yes, I do, Sean. I do know you well. I hope your back heals up soon, buddy, and your neck and all that good stuff. You're like Ezel from that movie Friday. My back, my neck, and my back. All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you for checking the show out. Tomorrow, 10 p.m., check out the Atomic Drop podcast talking WWE wrestling. I should be on there with Cowboy Dave, potentially Eddie Prather. Someday we will have Adam Glenn on there. I was hoping to have him on already, just haven't gotten to it yet. But Adam, he will be on one day. And one day I'm going to have to get this lad on here and just talk nonsense. Whatever comes up, we'll talk about. And Sean, one day, buddy, I'm going to get you on here. And everybody can behold the glory that is Sean. He doesn't talk in these fragments like he sends in comments. He really doesn't talk in fragments like that. He is a funny guy. And he's a very curious fella, too. He's very curious. So lots of I think that show would produce a lot of interesting questions and comments. All right. Thanks for checking the show out, everybody. Thank you for commenting. That's all I have for tonight. Go Kings, go, and just win, baby. See you later.